Welcome back to Black Magic Beauty. My name is Trish, and today is going to be my 7-month update for Pan That Palette Fun Size Project Pan by the Fantastic Ladies, featuring the palette that will not die, Pat McGrath in Bronze Borealis. So 2 months ago, I posted a video kind of looking for advice because I was not sure what the heck to do with this, because I spent the entire first half of the year wearing this palette on my face and it looking atrocious every time because it just clashed so terribly with my skin tone. And both on Reddit and here, you guys were like, chuck it in the bin, get rid of it. Like, there's no reason to keep working on it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's still here. But if you remember last month, I started realizing I can use the palette in different ways to finish it up because I'm just so determined to finish this thing up, but there was no way I was putting this on my eyes ever again because it was driving me nuts. So I posted last month about this lip gloss that I made with the purple shade in there. This is a red Galactic like lip balmy gloss mixed with a lip mask, mixed with a bunch of the shimmery purple. Now, obviously I'm still working on this, but I've made decent progress. And I think in probably about 2 months or so, this might be gone. And if not, I think my usage of this will definitely amp up quite a bit in the fall, both because it's colder out and my lips get more chapped at that point, and also this darker color is very like fall coated to me. I feel like I'm gonna be wearing it a lot then. And I made that body butter. So if you remember, I had this like Tupperware container of a homemade body butter that I made by mixing in some oil. I mixed in some body lotion as well as what was left of the bronze shade in this palette and all of the gold shade in this palette. And it made like a really cool bronzy, like shimmery body lotion. I can't really show you anything from that because it was in a Tupperware container that has now been washed, but it's done, which means that these 2 gigantic, empty, clean, perfect pans in here are actually finished. And I am so excited about that. So that gives me another 4 points in my low buy because each of these count for 2 points. The purple, I'm still not really sure what to do with after I finish that lip gloss, but I had the idea of maybe mixing it in with a hair oil and seeing if it looks pretty as like a pretty purple sheen in my hair. That could either look really good or like really awful. I'm not really sure which, but I think I'm gonna kind of experiment with that. And as you can see, the mauvey shade down at the bottom here is bigger than it was last month. So I'll pop in a picture of what it looked like last month just so you guys remember. But the reason for that is I actually found another way to kind of use that shadow. So if you remember from my inventory, which you probably don't, I have 2 singles from Sydney Grace that are the exact same shade. I don't remember the name of them exactly, but they're basically that sort of like grayish shade. And one of them came shattered. So I basically put it aside. I tried to repress it. It didn't work. So they sent me a new one. And the shattered shade has just been like kicking around because I couldn't bring myself to throw it out for some reason. And I realized that the main reason I don't like this mauvey shade in this palette is it's too red, too warm. It just doesn't work well for my skin tone. Like these kind of purples don't look very good on me. Usually I need more of a like blue tone purple. So I had the idea of actually mixing in that shattered eyeshadow with that mauvey tone to make like more of a muted grayed out version. And I did that, and I actually really like the results. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it on my hand here. But do you see how much like dustier and muted that is now? And this kind of shade is what works really well for me. Something that's like really soft and pretty. I'm starting to notice the bold shades, especially if they're warm or dark, they do not work well with my skin. As a comparison, this is what it looked like before. So obviously it's a lot less like pigmented now, but that was kind of the point, because this would just overwhelm my face. Whereas this, I'm able to use as like a really nice transition shade, and it still adds like a pretty purple aspect to the look versus just like a standard gray without it overwhelming my features. So obviously there's quite a bit of product in here because I used up the entire gray shade of Sydney Grace, which was basically a full pan of shattered shadow. I used up quite a bit of this mauve shade in this palette, and I actually mixed in a little bit of translucent powder in here to sheer it out a little bit more than it was. And like I said, I'm very happy with the results. I love this color. It's a perfect color for me. It works really well. But there's so much product in here. I don't think I'll be able to use all of this before the end of the year, but I'm happy to work on it because I thought this was a really good idea. So that's it for Pan That Palette this month, you guys. I have 2 new pans that are totally gone. My body butter is done. My lip gloss is being worked on. I have a new shadow that I made out of here. I'm gonna try to get creative to figure out what other ways I might be able to use these other 2. If I can't figure anything out, this might just be where it ends, but I'm at least gonna be working on those 2 products for the rest of the year. Let me know if you have any other ideas, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.